Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Eric Hunting from Parts Unknown. Eric Hunting, my sweetheart, Anissa.
Hello.
We're just getting home from another great wrestling event
Was lots
put
of
on
fun.
put on by Shut Up and Wrestle. This was Shut Up and Wrestle 22. They run out of Kevin Landry's training combine out in Holyoke. And for a small show with a great price for entrance fee, which is free 99, you get a heck of a show. Once you finally wake the crowd up and get everybody involved, it's a really fun show. A lot of these guys and girls are students. They're still learning. Some of them come from outside promotions to help and put on a good show. And from bell to bell, you really can't complain for what you're getting. And I'm not. They put on a good show.
It's fun.
It's fun. We're trying a little bit of a new setup here. I just want to put that out there. We've got some new technology that we're working with here, and so bear with us. Hopefully, we can. We got this all squared away here. Hopefully you can all hear us pretty well. So Shut Up and Wrestle 22. We had a ring announcer of Honest Abe, and we had one referee, Fly Nye, who he
He did a
ref
great job.
he refed every match. He's the flyest ref around. He did a pretty damn good job.
I was gonna say for reffing on the fly, he's your guy.
And he's a wrestler, but he did what he had to do. He picked it up. He was needed as a referee, and he did a damn good job.
Yeah, he did. I liked some of his expressions when he'd see some things going on. He was like, "Ooh."
Our first match. Please bear with me with some of these names. Where some of these guys are new to us, not necessarily new to the area at all, but to us, we haven't seen them. Some of them came out of another local promotion down in Connecticut called PAPW. So we're not 100% aware of them. Hopefully, we don't butcher any names or anything like that. We're gonna do the best we can. Our first match was Hunter Tarka, and he was facing one of our favorites, and that's Jay Baker.
Oh gosh,
Jay
yeah.
Jay Baker is an up and comer. He's a good dude, and he's straight out of the dispensary as he was built.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly legal.
Yep.
And that was a pretty damn good match.
It was.
Jay I've noticed has really started coming along in a short amount of time. We got to see him, as an opening match in a couple of places, and he's coming along. He's really getting better and better every time we see him. I've seen him a few times here at Shut Up and Wrestle because he trains over at the Combine, and he's really. We've seen him at Blitzkrieg a couple of times, and he's really putting it together.
He's quick.
He's quicker than a hiccup,
Yeah, I agree.
to borrow a phrase. And unfortunately, Hunter Tarka, he came away with the win. There was quite a bit of shenanigans going on.
Yes.
You hear that word come across from our programs quite a bit here. But when we spot shenanigans, we call it out. And
The Battle Academy.
the Battle Academy, that's who Hunter is out of the Battle Academy. They come up from PAPW, and
Tight-knit group.
quite a few of them. I think there was 5 members. The
You are correct.
the young Skylar Gray that
We'll talk
was
about
in
her.
another match, and then 4 other guys. And then there's also their leader, I believe, Chris Battle, but he wasn't there that I was aware of. So, but they were represented well, and thank goodness they were there because gave us the matches that we had. So,
Yeah.
you know, so
Thank you.
unfortunately, Jay Baker didn't come out with a win. He'll get him next time. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had our triple threat match. Had Red Sawyer.
Oof. Yikes.
We had Patrick Saint.
He is a big man.
That's a big man right there. And then we had Mark Alexander. And
he's quick.
Talk about a quick guy. Yeah, he's exciting to watch. He really is. Patrick Saint, that guy, you know.
For a guy his size, he's really quick too.
Yeah,
he can move.
He can move, and he's powerful.
Yeah, he's solid as a tree.
Yeah, and you know, I got to stand next to him at the end of the show. Hey, he's a big dude. I mean, I'm not big, but I recognize big. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he's part of the mission, so kind of have to boo him.
Boo.
But you know, it was
the real boo of the match was Red Sawyer, because
that guy. They say he's out of the mental asylum.
Yes.
I don't think it's an act. I think that guy's straight out of the loony bin.
But how? Yeah, I mean, the punishment that he endured through that match.
He took a hit on the floor. He took a hit on the hardest part of the ring.
A couple times.
This guy, he took a beating
from both competitors.
Yeah, they all three of them brought it. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, not to say that they didn't, but he endured the most brutal.
He took a beating.
But I also think he kind of brought it on himself.
Yes,
he was
very
a bit
much
antagonizing.
Yeah, and the winner on that one was Patrick Saint with essentially a double submission. He had them both locked in a Cobra Clutch type move, and Red Sawyer tapped first, and then he wasn't Patrick Saint wasn't letting go, and then Mark Alexander, I think, was tapping just to get him off of him, and eventually our ref got him off of him.
he not for lack of trying.
This is true. I think this is one of the only matches without a Battle Academy member in it.
Right, and no interference from them.
Interference from them. So then we had Lorenzo V, who was representing the Battle Academy. Again, you're going to hear that name throughout this card. And he was going up against a young up-and-comer, and that was Stevie Legend. And he's another one that I've gotten because of going to Shut Up and Wrestle. My first one was a little over a year ago. It was the first show I went to post-pan. Well, I guess we're still kind of in it, but when people started going to shows again, it was one of my first shows to go to. And I got to see Stevie Legend there, and because I believe, I'm not speaking for him, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that he's a student over at the Combine as well. And man, he's pretty, he's really good.
He gets quicker each time he's out there. His moves are much more fluid.
He gets more comfortable, I think, is the one way to put it. He seems to be more comfortable with the crowd and how to get them involved, and he's always a fan favorite when he comes out, and it's always a good match with him too. He puts on a solid match, and
he seems to have a very sweet personality.
Yeah, he seems to be a really nice guy. You know, he doesn't blow anybody off. I mean, heck, he comes over just to say hi to you post event.
Right. Because
that's one of the best things. I'm going a little off the rail here. One of the great things about independent wrestling is you get to meet and greet with these guys after the event, and sometimes you get to see the outside the character,
curtain. You pull it back.
The man behind the character or woman behind the character. They really get to know who they are, and it's really cool. That's one of the great things about indie wrestling. But Stevie Legend ended up getting the win on that one, and that was a hard fought win too. I think.
Yeah, it was a good match.
That Lorenzo, he's a good little wrestler there, Yeah. But coming out of that Battle Academy, coming up from PAPW, they don't just throw anybody out there. Those are good. It's a good company down there. That's a show I'd like to get to at some point. And we had Jay Lynn, who Battle Academy member, versus a guy not aware of at all. His name is Jack Dalton, and
what a sharp looking. I mean, his music definitely matched his.
Yes, Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top. How do you go wrong with that? I mean, but the gear, the boots, the look.
His whole presentation
he puts on a hell of a presence. I'd like to see him work around here some more. I'm not aware of him. I hope to see him in other places. See where else he comes to wrestle. I'd really like to see some more of him. I thought he put on a hell of a performance.
It was a good match.
It really was, and
there wasn't a bad match in the whole thing.
No, and I know it sounds like we say that all the time, but
we're lucky.
We get lucky with really good matches. We really do. I mean, these promoters in the local New England area know how to put together a good card.
I mean, Shut Up and Wrestles are different than, say, like PvP. PvP doesn't have. I mean, PvP has that storyline.
Yes.
That, with Hammer, how we've talked about that before. Right. And here, where these are a lot of students.
It's more what they call a student show, essentially. A lot of them are the students there. This is how they get their reps. This is how you can learn the moves in the ring, but you got to work in front of an audience. Well, you might not be ready for that big show, but work in front of. There was a good amount of people eventually showed up, so there was a good sized audience there.
Yeah. Well, I think Jay Baker's family is super supportive.
Hey, you got to bring them in however you can. And Jay Lynn ended up getting the win on that one. I believe there was... No, I don't know that there was any outside... I think it was a clean win.
Didn't he? I think that was the only one where he came out by himself. I don't remember.
No,
the other guy.
The other guy did come out, but then he turned around. He says, I'm going to let him... Yeah, Hunter there. But he ended up turning around, going to the back. He says he's got this one on his own.
Right.
And he did. They should have just let everybody come out by themselves. Maybe they would have won them all. Just saying. And after that one, and that was a great match. It really was. We had a title match. We had a title match, and the challenger was Skylar Gray.
Battle Academy.
Hey, whatever. And she had to face the only Big Juicy. Supporting some Big Juicy right here.
Lots of love for Big Juicy.
We love Big Juicy and
Jay Baker.
And we're gonna get to that in a second here. Big Juicy, she's got a nickname, and it's the Queen of Charisma.
She has.
That's not just a nickname. She is fire. She really is. There's nothing about Big Juicy that we don't love.
She's a ball of starshine. She has it.
She came running out, and I was getting up to take a picture, and she come running over, and she gave me a big hug. She says, "I'm a hugger." Well, we know, and
yes.
I'm a hugger as well, so that it fits. And the song is full of energy. She is full of energy. She came out with her juicy fuel.
The crowd fired.
Big time.
I've never
big time.
seen, even from her very, very beginnings, the crowd gets behind her.
Yes.
She has it.
Yes.
She has that magnetism.
It was the word that was in my head was magnetism.
I got you. And she just pulls everybody in, lights a fire, and keeps it throughout the match. I wish I had even a quarter of this woman's energy. Seriously.
Yeah.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
And that was a title match, and Juicy is the Shut Up and Wrestle Women's Champion. And that was a hard fought match.
good match.
This Skylar Grey, she was bringing it.
Yes.
She's something to be. She's a force.
Mm-hmm. She did Battle Academy proud. She battled.
But unfortunately for Skylar Grey, she didn't come up with a W. That was all on Big Juicy.
She
Big
squeezed
Juicy.
all the juice out of her.
Big Juicy took that win, and then the Hunter Taka, he seemed to think that it was his opportunity to be a jerk. He was something, and he tried to backstab on Big Juicy, and there was a savior. There was a saving grace on Big Juicy's part, and that was Jay Baker. Jay Baker came running in, sliding, and saving his girl, and they battled it out, and I wouldn't be too surprised if something falls out from that.
Yeah.
Maybe a mixed tag match, or something,
or even just
or
Hunter and
Jay Baker, is a grudge match or something.
The way he looked like he was ready to take on the entire Academy on his own.
If needed be.
He was not letting anybody go after Big Juicy.
And after that amazing match, we had the infamous Ryan Frost versus Adam Applegate, who's from Boston. Rotten Adam Applegate. That's a hard name to say. I'm sorry. And again, first time I was, made aware of this guy. But he's another one that can go.
He's making some complaints to the GM afterwards.
Listen, Ryan Frost is, Ryan Frost. And, the guy came out, and I put my hand out to get a high five or something. And what did I catch? I caught a kendo stick to the back.
One promotion, you get your hat flicked off.
Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong or who I upset. But I'm getting beat up here, and I don't know why. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just sitting in my seat, taking pictures, making content, putting it out there so that everybody gets aware of these guys. And I get one flicking my hat off. I got one hitting me with a kendo stick.
Well, with Ryan Frost, he was a little perturbed that people were cheering for him.
He doesn't like to be cheered.
No, and he let that be known.
Yep, and it hurt.
And he was accompanied by
Jimmy Meese.
Yes.
The big Jimmy Meese.
They're both big men.
They're both big guys. I look up at Ryan Frost, and all kidding aside, I love Ryan Frost. Ryan Frost is my guy, but
he's a sweet
we're not going to go that far into ruining the gimmick, but he's a
guy you love to hate.
Nope. Can't even do that. I've told him before.
I don't know what you want from me.
I have told him to his face. I said, you can beat up little children, and I'm still going to cheer for you. And he'll do that if he has to. He beat me up with a kendo stick, but what a match! It was two big dudes just duking it out.
That was a very physical match.
It was very physical. I didn't know what way it was going to go. It was...
you love to see high flyers, but sometimes you love to see the ground and pound. Just two big guys going
beating the crap out of each other.
Two big tanks just butting heads.
You gotta love a hoss fight. And that was our hoss fight of that night, this evening.
Right.
It was the hoss fight. And Ryan Frost took the win, and he pretty much took it. It was...
the other guy tried to take it, but Ryan Frost said, I don't think so.
And Adam Applegate says he's got to talk to the GM on that. He wants retribution on that one.
For being beaten with it. He says, every time, cane stick.
I believe this is their second or third match or something like that. And from other places, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again.
I would not have a problem with
I would watch it.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Of course I would. But and then we had King Swipe. That was King Swipe.
fucking swine.
Versus the heart of the city, Jiggy Sosa. Man, if there's a guy that brings energy, as soon as they heard his music in the audience, most of the people that were there are always at the Shut Up and Wrestle shows, so they know his music. As soon as it started up, everybody was on their feet ready for Jiggy Sosa. Mm-hmm. Jiggy Sosa is a hell of a talent. Amazing. I think he's an amazing wrestler. And
I haven't seen him that often. So
you've only seen him, a couple of times.
Right.
But I've gotten to see him at quite a few shut-ups, but he's a hell of a performer. And
I mean, you look at the two, and there's such a difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Guy who everything is covered head to toe. His gear.
Yeah.
The only his hands were showing, and his face, obviously. And Jiggy Sosa, of course, he's shirtless, and he's got the locks.
Yeah.
And tattoos, and the other guy looked. He calls himself a king.
Yeah.
And just the two. One has all the grit and determination.
Yep, that was.
And then you have the shiny silver spoon type spoiled fella.
Yeah. Clash of styles. Big time clash of styles in this match. And, and so a
couple of times you had to say, hey, get off his hair.
Yeah. There was just a lot going on.
It was, if you blinked, you missed something.
Yeah, this match just really, really brought it. And Jiggy Sosa won as well. I mean, Jiggy Sosa's a winner. But he had to fight for that win.
Yeah, he did.
He had to fight for that win. It wasn't a walk-away match. No. And then afterwards, Jiggy Sosa has had some issues in the past with a tag team known as Buff Inc. And Buff Inc. is their name. Buff Dad and Two Buff. And so Jiggy Sosa asked Fly Nye if he would be his tag team partner to face Buff Inc. And Fly accepted. And I think that's going to be one hell of a match when it happens. I'm assuming where they made this match happen that it, at Shut Up and Wrestle, that it'll be at a future Shut Up and Wrestle event.
I've never seen Fly Nye perform, have I?
I don't think so. Unless he performed at the Big Jim show. I'm trying to remember. That was a while ago now. At the Big Jim tribute show. And there was a lot of guys on that card. I believe that would have been the only one that you would have seen him at.
Right. And if not, I liked the energy he brought as a ref.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that he would be very fun to watch as in a ring wrestling capacity.
And that brought us up to the main event. And we'll start with the challenger, as you should. And that was Aladdin, representing the Pyramids of Power, versus the Shut Up and Wrestle heavyweight champion, and that is the magnificent Marcos. And this dude, when you think of a champion, you think of somebody that looks like Marcos. He's built, You know
what I like about him?
Belts look good on him.
Yes. Is that he gets the crowd involved, but he doesn't pander to the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He makes himself very available, and he, will pose for pictures in the beginning. But it isn't just, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm just, everything's about the crowd. He has such a good balance of he knows how to get the crowd going again.
Yep.
And pay attention and
get them fired up
and still carry on with the match. He doesn't have to take the time to...
It's all happening at the same time.
Right. And there are some wrestlers who they haven't learned how that balance yet, how to have it flow effortlessly like he is, but there again, he's a champion for a reason.
Right. Multiple places too.
Right.
You know, he's a champion here. He's a champion at New World Wrestling Extreme. He was a Test of Strength, a champion. He's champion in multiple places.
Well, deservedly so.
Yeah, and that title is...
That's a Shut Up title.
That's a beautiful title. I actually had the opportunity to hold that title, and it's an amazing piece of hardware. But that match...
You should put a little picture of you holding that
and that was a really, really good match. And, you know, I mean, Aladdin has been around for a little while now. The very first event we saw was with him. We won't get into that match, but...
Yeah, Aladdin and Aladdin.
Yeah, and, you know, when they were known as different names. But that was our very first event, and that was 5 years ago.
Right.
And this guy, you know, they've been everywhere.
And they've come a long way.
And they've come a long way. And, you know, I think there was a few times he had Marcos on the ropes. You know, he could have taken it if, you know, he could have just held him for a couple, you know, one more second or so, you know.
And also if Marcos was a lesser champion.
Yeah, well, this is true. You know.
I think it's something to be said that you have a good challenger, but you're able to hold him off because of your abilities and
as a champion.
Yes, and your experiences from so many places.
You know,
and I think someday Aladdin will hold a championship like that.
Yeah.
I think he
today
needs a little bit more
wasn't
time.
his name.
Yeah.
Today just was not his day. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so that was, I mean, it sounded like it went quick. This is definitely one of our quickest review shows, but it's a smaller show. Like we described it, you know, we said it in the beginning here. You know, this was essentially like a student show type of thing. And, but it's an amazing time. You get a chance to go out to Holyoke, out to the Combine to watch one of these shows.
And it's a very eclectic spot to go see.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you get to go into a factory setting?
Yeah, it's held in, you know, they have a space inside of an old factory. And I walk down the hallway and I feel like I'm back at work, you know, because the factory I work in looks like that. So it's like, wait, I just left there. But, you
what
know,
I think is fun.
And then you walk through the door and then you're in a wrestling area, you know, and, you know.
Is that you sit in church pews.
Yes.
To watch them. I mean, it's just...
There's no folding chairs. There's church pews, old church pews. And, you know, they got a few rows, five rows deep on one side, one row deep on the other side because there's the entrance, right? It's a pretty interesting little setup. And, you know, if you watch the other video that I'll make with all my photos and stuff, you'll see how it's kind of set up. But, you know, they put on a really fun show. Usually they have, this time they didn't. This show was kind of put together last minute. They were supposed to have
a different event.
A different event. It was a training thing that they were going to have, and for whatever reason that got postponed. So they quickly threw this card together. So they didn't have all the people in place to do the other things where they usually have hot dogs and they have sodas and chips and stuff like that. And then, you know, you're sitting there with friends because you go to these shows all the time. You get to know all the fans, and then you get to make new friends.
Like Karen.
Karen and her son Joshua,
Hello,
who this kid, he makes me look like I'm not a wrestling fan. He is all up in their faces. He's flexing with them. He gave Ryan Frost the business too. And Ryan Frost told him, "Shut up, Josh."
You know, and he held Juicy.
He got to hold the women's title and
keep it safe
until she won her match. So that was the event. Again, that went really quick. It was, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good seeing Sister Laura and little Weesey.
Yes, we got to see some of our favorite people. Got to see Fogman. I will always, always, always give love to Fogman. And Bruce, we got to see, and we got to see Laura C, and we got, you know, and Weesey, her daughter, and we got to see a few other regulars that we see all the time, and then the wrestlers that we see all the time. It was great.
It's a fun time.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Relaxed.
It's easy to have fun there because it's so intimate. It's so, it's not 100,000 people. Not that we ever see that many, but there's not a overload of people.
And it's very welcoming.
Yeah. As soon as you walk through that door, they're like, "Hey, welcome. Yeah, have a seat. Thanks for coming." They're always appreciative of the people that come to these little shows because they know if you're a diehard fan, that's why you're there. And they prove it every time. So that all being said, that brings us to our favorite parts of the show, or at least my favorite part of the show, and that is match of the afternoon. And I'll throw it to you.
Oh God!
Match of the afternoon. There was quite a few to pick from. Just a quick look.
I'm gonna go with the women's championship match. 8.
9.
9. Oh, I thought I counted
2,
8.
3.
But I am tired.
4,
so.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Huh. All right.
I guess. Unless I'm reading something wrong, which is possible.
Note to self: do not binge.
Don't stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning and then go to a wrestling show at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm sorry I stepped all over your pick, and that was
it's
the
a
women's.
Good thing you're cute. Yes,
the women's title match.
Yeah, because that was a knockdown, drag out fight.
Yeah.
And props to Big Juicy for holding her own while Skylar, right?
Yep. Skylar Gray. Yep.
She had the rest of Battle Academy out on her side, and of course shenanigans.
Yeah.
Luckily, Fly Nye was pretty on top of it, and he tossed a couple.
He eliminated them one at a time, except for Hunter, and that's when things went down post match with
a kerfuffle.
So my match of the afternoon, I think, I was leaning a lot towards that match myself. Mm-hmm. That same match. And what was it? It was that was not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of I Am So Sorry. I think that Jay Lynn and Jack Dalton, that match was a really, really good match. It really was. Mm-hmm. And it kind of messes with what my pick on the next thing is going to be. But that was a great match. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to, I kind of wanted to pick something different than your match of the afternoon. Mm-hmm. It was down to those two for me on the ride home. I was like, I was thinking about it because that's what we try to do. And I'm like, that Dalton, he really impressed me tonight with his look, his ability to go,
his charisma.
Yeah, he really had me, and I got to speak with him a couple of minutes after event, and that match was my number 2, but because you made your pick and it was what it was, that's why I'm picking that one. Mm-hmm. Performer of the afternoon.
It's gonna be kind of strange, but I'm picking Battle Academy as a whole.
Okay.
Because seriously, I think without them, this would have been a very short card.
Yeah.
And it was really great to see performers we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
And each one of them brought something new, different
styles.
And they fought hard, each one of them. It was...
And they cheated really good, too.
Yeah, they did.
They know how to cheat.
But they need to keep their hands off our girl.
Well, listen. You can do what you want to anybody else. Keep messing around with Juicy and you're going to have some problems. That's all I'm going to say right now.
I got a cane, too.
I got cane today. My performer of the afternoon was in the triple threat match, and that's going to be Mark Alexander. That kid impressed me from get go. Get go, he just impressed me. I thought he was going to take the win until, you got two guys in a submission move. All right,
with a guy the size of Patrick Saint.
He's able to put two guys in. That's great, but that kid, man, did he go? I want to see him again, and I want to see him again, and he just really, really impressed me, and I wish he had gotten the win. I was kind of rooting for him in that match.
I was too.
Because he had to put up with a lot with, Patrick Saint just being, a bull in a china shop.
He's a force.
And then you had to put up with Mr. Crazy. And, that guy, nuts doesn't even begin to express how crazy he is. But yeah, so my performer was Mark Alexander. I thought
that's a good choice.
I was going to go a different way, but that was just out of favoritism.
Sometimes we have to hold up.
But it's who we think it is, not who we want it to be.
Exactly.
And so it was Mark Alexander. I thought he put on a hell of a performance.
And I'd like to see him again.
I would definitely love to see him wrestle again, and in a singles match. I think I'd like to see him in a singles match, just so he can just do something one-on-one.
And you can
see what else he has.
Yeah, more showcase.
See if he has to, find a higher gear, and if he can or not,
Right.
So that was Shut Up and Wrestle 22 out of the Kevin Landry's combine, and we had a lot of fun. We like we said, we got to see some new people, new wrestlers, new performers. And we got to see some favorites, see some good, fun people, our favorite peoples, and the next one will be next month, I believe. I'm not 100%. We're working on going to possibly going to another show in the very near future. At a different promotion, one that has not been reviewed yet, and that'll be Test of Strength.
July 9th.
And I'm excited to bring Anissa to her first TOS show. It'll be my second. And you want to talk about a different vibe. That place just is, it gets a different kind of excitement than we've been exposed to. They just bring a different vibe, and a lot of the people we know on there, and I look forward to you getting to experience Test of Strength for the first time. I mean, you've got to experience some of their wrestlers because we've seen them in other places. Guys like Bobby Ocean and Marcos and Ryan Frost and today Patrick Saint. That was the first time we got to see Patrick Saint wrestle. We saw him come out at Shut Up and Wrestle, at the tribute show. He came out with Dan the Man and as the heavy, but he can go too. So that was that in a review of Shut Up and Wrestle 22, and we hope to see you at any of the shows. Come to the shows. Go support your independent wrestling.
Yeah, come have fun with us.
We don't bite unless you want us to, but we don't bite too hard. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, share. Please, if you see something you like, let me know. If you see something you don't like, let me know. I really need help on what I need to do. If you're liking
feedback
what you see,
is always appreciated.
Yeah, I need the feedback just so I know where I need to work on to grow. I want to do what I can to make this fun content for everybody.
And get more eyes on the wrestlers.
Yep. Yeah. This is all about the talent. This has nothing to do with me or Anissa. This is all about the talent out there. I don't put this up here just for me. I put this up here to support them. And, and there's other stuff around.
Supporting. They really are.
It's something that we really love to do, and I think if you take the time to watch these, you take the time to go to a show, you're gonna have just as much fun as we do.
And be careful.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah. You go to one, you're gonna go to another one. It's like a potato chip.
Yep.
You can't have just the one.
So come have fun with us.
And always build them up. Don't tear them down. And again, like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell so you get notified, and join us for the next one. This has been Eric Hunting from Parts Unknown with Anissa, and we will see you at the matches. Thank you.